Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to welcome you all to DINO Talkx webinar today to discuss on sustainable companies and supply chain dynamics. We are here today to discuss a topic that is of an extreme importance in today's world, sustainability. In the face of increasing environmental challenges and social responsibilities, it is crucial for companies to adopt sustainable practices, and soon we are going to hear what are those practices. My name is Niina Nurmi, and I'm going to be your host during this webinar. Today, we have gathered here in my lovely home city of Loimaa, which is, of course, the home city of our event organizer, Dinolift. Glad to be here today. We have an excellent lineup of speakers here today, and they will share their insights and experience in their field. Let me introduce Mika Rantanen, CEO of Würth, Emilia Vuorela, Head of Marketing and Communications from Pemamek, Niina Pirinen, Development Manager from Ramirent Group, and of course, Supply Chain Manager from Dinolift, Ari Kaapola. Welcome. It's nice to have you here today with us. In addition to our valued speakers, we encourage active participation from you all. We will address questions also for the audience, so please feel free to share your thoughts and experiences throughout the webinar. Because we believe that interactive discussion will enrich our understanding of sustainable supply chains and inspire us to take actions in our companies and maybe even in our own lives. Throughout the webinar, we will explore several aspects of sustainable companies, including the environmental, social, and ethical considerations in the supply chain process, and also the impact, for example, sourcing, producing, and delivering goods and services. By adopting sustainable practices, companies can surely reduce their carbon footprint, boost their reputation, and contribute to the well-being of communities and the whole planet. Very soon, we will explore such topics as operational challenges and solutions, impact on local communities and economy, and understanding the future requirements. By understanding these practices, we can gain valuable insights into how companies can effectively integrate sustainability into their core operations. Once again, I welcome you all to DINO Talkx webinar on sustainable companies and supply chains. Let's get started. I start with an easy opening question to our lovely speakers today. So, the first question is, what sustainability achievements are you most proud of? Maybe it can be something you have done in your companies, or maybe something you have done in your personal lives. Let's share some thoughts. Who wants to begin? Ari.
Me? Yeah. Hello, everybody. This time, my topic goes to personal side of life. I'm very proud that I got my solar panels a couple of years ago, and the benefits are very visual for me now because I produce my own electricity about 35 to 40% annually. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Ari. That's great to hear. Okay, then what about you, Niina?
Yeah, well, I can be proud of many things in the area of sustainability, but one thing about our company, I'm very proud of Ramirent as a part of Loxam company. We have signed a science-based initiative, so we are We are trying to reduce our carbon emission by 2030, and it is as aligned to Paris Agreement 2015. And if I speak about my personal point of view, I'm very proud of my household waste recycling, because a few years ago I thought it was very onerous, but now I recycle everything. So I'm very proud of that.
Wow, thank you, Niina. Let's go then to Emilia.
Yeah, well, yeah, I come from Pemamek, and in fact, this year we published our first sustainability report, and we were reporting the year 2022 and 2023. So that was definitely a big project and a moment that we were very proud of. Additionally, according to that report as well, one of our data points was to measure how we manage and utilize our waste generated from our different processes, and we found out that we utilize clearly 100% to other purposes, or for energy production, for example. So that was something we are very, very proud of. And then, of course, in my personal life, we also have solar panels and have electric cars. So that's something in the field of sustainability that we are very proud of.
Wow, that's impressive. What about you, Mika?
Well, I could share a little bit similar what Ari said about the solar plant. I'm a little bit proud of what we did at Würth, Finland, in our logistics center. We produced, I think, about 19-20% of our electricity what we need there. But actually, I think about something else that I'm really proud of. It goes to our head office in Germany, in Würth head office. We have a hotel there belonging to our company group, which is not exactly a core of our business. And this hotel, Anna-Sophie, is something special. It's been there for 15-20 years already. It employs handicapped people. That's people with mental or physical disabilities. And it's been something that I'm really proud of. I feel very honored to be part of Würth that is doing such a thing which goes to the social sustainability or social responsibility side. It's something that the company actually doesn't benefit much. It's something that it's not obligated to do, but it is somehow our family business has decided to invest on such thing. And that's something that I every time go to the hotel being served by enthusiastic people. I'm really proud of that.
Wow, yeah, seems like you're really excited about that.
I am.
Yeah. Wow, thank you. Thank you all for the opening question. Seems like our speakers are truly forerunners in sustainability in their personal life as well as their companies. Thank you. All right, now let's shift gears and discuss the operational challenges and solutions of the sustainable supply chain. So, sustainable supply chains are becoming increasingly important in today's globalized world. As companies strive to minimize their environmental impact and also address social and ethical concerns, they face various operational challenges. These challenges can difficult the implementation of sustainable practices throughout the supply chain. So let's explore the topic and listen how we can create even more sustainable supply chains. So the first question is, what challenges related to sustainability you have faced in your sector, and how did you overcome them? Who wants to begin? Ari.
Me? Okay. I was thinking this question production-wise. So one aim is to reduce use of resources. So in our case, that means that we are concentrating our production under one roof instead of the old situation where there were 3 units. So now all the transport and things related to that, it's much more easier. And also some investments in painting and washing automation, so we are able to reduce dangerous materials and waste. So.
Yeah, really good examples. Thank you, Ari. What about you, Niina?
Yeah, challenges. For example, now we are here in Dinolift, so I would like to talk about you are far ahead about producing these sustainable and low emission machines, but in real life it's a big challenge in our case to have these low emission machines, because the production of especially heavy machines, it is very they are under production, but the availability it's not that good yet, and so the parts, the components, and the price, so it's very easy. But if we think how we have solved it, so in the meantime we will use these renewable fuels, so to make machines environmental friendly. So that is one thing. And I will also like to point out that the one other big challenge when we talk about the price is that the customers are not willing to pay. Because if we think about these environmental friendly machines, they are as much as twice more expensive. So it's very hard to get the price to the contracts. So it's a challenge. But I see light in the tunnel and at the end of the tunnel, because now it seems that our customers are now ready to make the calculations, and they are making so they actually see the total cost, the total impact of these machines. So I would say that there's a bright future in our field.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Niina. What about you, Emilia? Have you faced similar kind of challenges, or what kind of challenges you have?
Yeah, actually, I could relate to Dinolift as well. We also at Pemamek, we manufacture everything here in Loimaa. We have a factory of 27,000 square meters, although we export a lot, majority of our solutions to abroad. So in that sense, as we manufacture everything here, we want, and all the time we control very much our waste management. Of course, we have a lot of side flows in how we can benefit from the side flows, and that's one of the reasons why one of the data points we have in our reporting is the waste management and how to reuse those. In addition to that, since we're talking about the most likely the CSRD in the later of the webinar as well, then one of the challenges is the reporting itself and getting the data also from the supply chain, because that in the future as well, when we look to the future, that is going to be most likely one of the challenges for the operational system as well. So.
Okay, thank you. Then Mika, do you feel the pain or?
I do. CSRD and many other pains I do feel. I think it's the challenge is it all comes from the culture, the mindset of the people. I feel it challenging that Würth, like many companies, have not born in a time of ESG topics and sustainability. It is something that we need to learn on the way, and we have a lot to do with the culture to make it lively and to integrate that to our processes and the mindsets of the people, so that the ESG isn't in the future an isolated island that somebody somewhere is doing, but it is actually part of our everyone's daily work and part of the company strategies. I think that's really a challenge. It's a matter also of resources that we need to put in place. When thinking about my company Würth, at the same time, I see also a question how to overcome it. Being part of a bigger company group, it sometimes helps also resource-wise, because we do not always need to invent everything by ourselves. We can see what the colleagues are doing. Our presence internationally, globally is there. This sustainability is something that is far beyond our national level and local level. So how to overcome these? I feel very confident being part of something bigger, to be able to cope with the topics that are definitely a little bit challenging at the moment.
If I can comment, that was a very good comment from Mika, talking about the sustainability and how it is integrated into the culture. And I think it's important also to consider what is the definition of sustainability, because it seemingly is updated all the time. Just considering about the geopolitics, for example, it is all the time updates, and companies need to be alert and scan what it means to us and what it means in our context, because in the end, companies still need to maintain competitiveness at the same time, which is one aspect to responsibility as well.
Yeah.
Anything you would like to add, Ari or Niina? No. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Yeah, it's not easy, but I think that you got really good insights and aspects for these challenges. But is there any? You mentioned already some practices you are doing in your companies, but is there any like innovative solutions or technologies you have adopted to boost sustainability?
If I may start,
Yeah.
For us, it has been almost 50 years that we have been able to offer electric mobile elevating units. So you get power from battery or directly from grid. Of course, we have diesel motors available, but at least you have the option to be greener. And we also use these lightweight materials as steel and aluminium, also plastics. And it's also important to remember that these materials are all recyclable. So, yeah. And if you think of the product itself, the life cycle is very long. So it's not like a disposable item. You can use it easily 10 years and after refurbish it or easily recycle it. So, thank you.
Really good example.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ari.
Yeah.
Does anyone else want to share some innovatives you are using?
I can take an example. Yeah. It's actually something that I really love to talk about. It's not brand new. It's been there for a few years already. It is related to using the digital means to provide something very conventional in the past. I refer here to management of chemical safety data sheets. That's something that in the professional use, when you use pretty much any chemicals, you need to have the documentation in place for the safe use, and it has to be available. And how it was done in the past, it was paper printed. We also at Würth printed a huge amount of documents distributed to maybe some of your production areas to be available, and that meant that those documentation were one could say they were out of date when they were printed. And it was a lot of paper, a lot of printing, a lot of work. And once we digitalized this process in a tool which we call Easy, because it's easy, it is something that gives the documentation on your mobile phone or on a website available. It's up to date, no more crazy printing, and you have the information up to date. The quality is better, and it certainly has sustainable features compared to huge amount of printing. That's something that I think it's very practical digital innovation that is helping the save many things, nature, time, and actually also increase and improve quality.
Thank you. That was really good modern example of how to get solutions for this issue.
I personally remember these long lines of folders, and usually they were outdated, so your system is very good, useful.
I can also tell one example from Pemamek. We design and manufacture welding automation for the heavy industries, and one of those industries is wind energy. And of course, in the wind, naturally, in the wind energy industry, sustainability is a major and very crucial topic as well. For this industry, especially the offshore wind has been in a very high demand lately, and most likely will be in the future. But the thing in that industry is that the materials are very thick for the foundations and for the towers, and they can be over 100 millimeters and up. And for this industry, we have developed this semi-narrow gap groove, so which results in less usage for the customer for energy, for example, in multi-pass welding, and less consumables. So, and this aspect is also one of the report points again and focus areas. So in how we can enable our customers to be more sustainable. So that's one of our innovatives.
Yeah, great example. And really high tech also.
Yeah, and there are more smarter people in welding who can explain this in more detail. But that is something that has been very efficient for customers as well.
Yeah. All right. Do you, Niina, want to share?
Perhaps I can tell. Well, we are in a circular economy business. We have been there for decades, but now it's sort of a few years ago it's realized. So our challenge is how to get better in circular economy. So in this circular economy, we try to get more circular economy business models. So perhaps one would be this, we have this Ramirent application for how to sort of, how our customers can rent machine by use, so we don't have under one site, so we don't have, it reduces the transportation costs. So many contractors can use same, for example, same Dinolift. We have this application. It's for sustainability issue. We get better usage rates for those lifts because they are in better use. They are not just there waiting for someone to use them. And also it increases the safety. So we know who has been using those lifts or any machine. So there's always a permission behind there. So it increases the safety in the construction site. So that is one application. But as an overall, I would say these digital innovations in any part of supply chain. So they actually improve our sustainability aspect also.
Thank you, Niina. And thanks to you all by sharing these innovations you are doing in your companies. A lot of great things going. But the final question for this topic is that how do you measure the impact of these sustainable practices in your businesses? Ari, please.
Okay. In our case, there has been some let's say footprint calculus, carbon footprint calculus, and also this EcoVadis system. So the result of this is that at least we know on which level are we. So that's very important if you want to get higher on better level. And of course, you might think social or ethical metrics, basic things like workplace safety, good labor practices, and so on. Also, supply chain sustainability. We prefer suppliers with similar interests. So, and so, thank you.
Thank you, Ari. What about you, Niina? Do you have examples for this?
Yeah, well, of course, we measure our carbon footprint, and as I mentioned before, the Science-Based Initiative makes the borders. So we get there better and better all the time, and of course we measure our suppliers. We use these EcoVadis. So thank you for Dinolift to taking that also in use. So that in that perspective we also measure, and we also help our customers to measure. So we have launched this project-based emission calculator for our customers, so they can follow how much emissions our machines, the transports related to our machines, and then our actions in the project, how much emissions that causes, so they can follow that, and because they have to report it, so we provide this report for them also. So that kind of measurements.
Thank you, Niina. What about Emilia? How are you doing things in Pemamek, considering the measurement of the sustainability?
Yeah, well, of course, the sustainability report is kind of the builds the structure for all different kind of measuring methods. Before the sustainability report, we also completed the ESG performance measurement. And also, of course, we measure our energy consumption for the factory, waste management system, as I mentioned. Also, in March, we opened our whistleblowing channel regarding more the governance measurements. And then, of course, safety measurements as well. And and all these information are then gathered in the report. So those are some of the main measurement tools.
Thank you. A lot of regulations to follow also.
Definitely a lot of regulations, a lot of to handle, and a lot of data, of course. And then to interpret and process the data is one of the hardest jobs.
For sure. Thank you, Emilia. And then Mika.
Pretty much similar what we just heard. So we measure the use of electricity, use of fuel, use of inputs compared to the output. That's something that we're doing already quite some time. We have the environmental management system in place, audited. We have the energy management system in place. How we measure our sustainability we use what is called GRI. It's a global reporting initiative concept or standard. We use that as a framework for measuring the impact.
Thank you. Thank you for the answers. In conclusion, we could say that we face various challenges in sustainable supply chain, but luckily there are a lot of good solutions also, as we heard. I would say that by improving transparency, improving the cultural things, adopting digital practices, and also, for example, recycling are those practices we can create more sustainable supply chains. All right, then we can move to our next topic, which is personally my favorite, and its impact on local businesses and economies. As we understand, sustainable companies are playing a significant role in shaping the local business and economy areas. By integrating responsible practices into the supply chain processes, business can actually create really positive impact on their local communities. Next, we will discuss about that. And the first question is, how does a sustainable supply chain impact local businesses and communities at your companies or areas? What do you think? Ari, please.
For Dinolift, domestic origin of suppliers is well over 70%, and it's proven by this avainlippu sign. I don't know if there is a translation in English, but Finnish people know it very well. But I get a regular question whenever I'm outside Finland, what does it mean? And I can say it shortly that, okay, it's easy to explain that we are Finnish manufacturer, not from, for example, Asia or someplace else. And it also means that you can assume that the basic level of being sustainable is filled very well because of this legislation and this demands of this avainlippu. And we also have many very local suppliers. They are a couple of kilometers from our factory and Loimaa area. So it means that we are proving work and welfare for the local area.
Yeah, proud of being Finnish and
Yeah.
proud of being from Loimaa. Yeah. Thank you, Ari. What about Ramirent, Niina?
Yeah, well, it's how do you see locality? Ramirent is a global company. Ramirent is operating in Northern Europe, but I think that our impact in locality is pretty much the same. That we use these good suppliers, which we know that work for their communities, and also as we provide our services to customers, so that we also tend to provide them then a sustainable way. And also I think that this is a very important topic, that you operate locally, you bring welfare and jobs there. So I think that is also what we do. We have in Finland we have depots in more than 50 depots from Hanko to Kittilä, which is from south to north Finland. Finland is a big country, so I think that is very important that we provide the welfare everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you, Niina. What about Pemamek and Emilia?
Yeah, well, again, very similar messages also from Pemamek. Even though we operate globally, as I mentioned, we manufacture everything here in Loimaa, and today Pemamek employs almost 400 people directly. And then when we include all the subcontractors and their subcontractors, the network grows very, very much bigger, and thus the welfare as well. Today, Pemamek's subcontracting network goes all the way pretty much overall in Finland, and vast amount of our subcontractors comes from Finland. So it definitely has a big impact also on the Finnish national scale. And the local in Loimaa as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Emilia. What about you, Mika? What do you think about this subject?
My thinking now goes to this area, Loimaa, where Dino and Pema are strong manufacturers in this area, and what the sustainability impact here. In the past times, I think we all somehow recognize and share that the driver for different kinds of supply and subcontracting was often cost. It was very cost driven, and now that the sustainability topics come stronger and already have come to the game, I think it gives a lot of opportunities for local suppliers and subcontractors. It changes the game. It probably, surely, it's not anymore a low cost game. It is the it is a high responsibility game, how to say. And so in a way, knowing that there is a lot to be done around this topic, it gives a lot of opportunities, and the cost handicap that we in northern part of Europe sometimes have had, maybe it will turn to another direction in the long run, and not necessarily not even that long run. So I see a lot of opportunities together with the ESG responsibility when the companies locally also take their part, which they do.
Thank you, Mika. That's really important point of view. Actually, because of that speech, I would like to ask an additional question to our Loimaa companies. So Dinolift and Ari, do you have any collaborations here which you would like to mention as a part of sustainability and companies in the area?
Yeah, we do have. One example is that we are recycling our wooden pallets and collars with the local suppliers, and if you put it into numbers, it means more than 4,000 pallets and collars annually. So it's quite a lot of those. The old situation was they were rotting on our yard, so that's very good improvement. And of course, it's very important thing that for the shorter the supply chain is, it's more resilient to disruptions. We have seen it during the COVID and the war in Ukraine, so I'm very, very happy about that.
Yeah, and you should be really proud also. It's a good practices. Yeah, thank you. What about Pemamek?
Well, I could give some more not that tangible examples and maybe more social examples. Of course, there is this fantastic initiative, an organization, Teknologiaklusteri, working in the area of Loimaa, which gathers together some of the main companies, and there is open knowledge sharing and different target groups sharing information and thinking, planning how they can develop the area and the companies and collaborate better together in the future. Another example also from same kind of companies is that the donation for the University of Turku last year, where the university was able to acquire one professor for the university. And so hence it was a significant donation, which is very great for the university and for the future technology students as well. So the donation was targeted for the School of Technology within the university. So that was a great initiative. And of course, to mention this webinar as well, I think this is another fantastic collaboration. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot going on in this area of Loimaa.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, of course, in national and global level as well. Thank you. I could say that in conclusion, like sustainable supply chains are having a deep impact on local businesses and economies, and that's what we heard. And of course, by prioritizing environmental and social responsibility, businesses can create long-term benefit and learn from each other and their communities. Yeah, now that we have discussed the local, national and global impacts in our previous topics, maybe we can next explore some future insights in our last topic. As the global business landscape develops, the future requirements for sustainable supply chains are likely to become a little bit more harsh. Let's discuss some key trends and thoughts of the future requirements for sustainable supply chains. So first question. Given the recent European Union sustainability legislation, how do you foresee it impacting global supply chains and your specific business processes?
Yeah, I see it in that way that the standards thinking of environmental things, they will get much more tighter. And probably this means that the future suppliers, they need to invest, for example, in greener production methods. This also might mean that it changes our supplier field. So we will want to keep the greener ones, and that maybe not those who are not so good at sustainability.
Yeah, so it's like more green practices.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ari. What about Niina?
Yeah, well, I could say exactly the same words. So,
Yeah.
so definitely that, and also the other aspects of sustainability. That companies are working ethical, they are taking their responsibilities there. So that they are companies that we want to work with as an overall. So I think that is. That will be also the game changer. That is not the price anymore. It is the so to say good companies we want to work with. Yeah.
Thank you. Really important point of view. Thank you. What about you, Emilia?
Well, considering it from the CSRD, so the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, complicated word combination, but the scope was extended also to SMEs, so also to the small companies. So I think that results in that a lot of the companies need to, because if the company itself belongs under the directive, then it means that they need to also consider their suppliers because they need to get the data. So I think it will have actually a bigger impact to the supply chain than we even actually realize right now. Because, for example, for Pemamek's customer, we need to provide the data for our customers, for example, in the wind energy industry. So it means that we need to get the data from our suppliers. So I think the new directive it is going to be a lot more data-driven than in the past, and one of the focus will be in the impact as well, not only on measuring itself, but the itself impact. So I think it will have a significant impact.
Yeah, if I can comment that, so that I think that we as bigger companies have also responsibility to our smaller suppliers, and if we do reporting, we do these measurements, so we can also help them to do those also, so that we share the information, we work together, so that we just don't close them down, that we don't want to do business with you because you are not able to provide these figures or data. So I think we have a big responsibility to help those small companies also.
That's a very good comment. That's, I think, also one of the main concerns, that maybe bigger companies have the resources and have the capability to actually complete all the reporting and gather the data. But I think the main concern is the smaller companies who necessarily do not have all those resources.
Exactly.
So that's very good.
Exactly.
Good point.
Yeah. Companies can learn from each other, and especially like smaller from the bigger ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and vice versa.
Yeah, vice versa. Yeah. Can you agree, Mika?
I do. I do agree. It's clear that European Union is leading the way with the legislation. We see it clearly, and it's evident that it goes beyond the borders of European Union. I think two things change. At least two things change completely. Is firstly, what has been voluntary before will be mandatory in the future. That's something that we already know and already see based on the legislation that is on the way, like CSRD, for example. And the other thing that will change is that the scope of responsibility is no more the company, the footprint of the company itself, but it is the supply chain. It is especially the suppliers, it's the upstream, and the companies are responsible to know, recognize in the first place in reporting, to know the upstream impacts, and oftentimes the suppliers are not in EU, so it's a global thing. It doesn't matter if your subcontractor is in Loimaa or it is in Asia. You need to be able to, you need to have the transparency to the supply chain, and you need to report it. And not only report, it's CSRD is next year reality, and there is a next wave coming. There is the due diligence directive coming in, meaning that it's no more only reporting, but the companies need to actually make action, put in the processes, the methods that will comply with the, what do you call it, Paris Agreement. So the impact on global supply chain is more than we, I think, as you said, more than we realize at the moment.
Thank you, Mika. So you have already shared some practices you are doing, but how can you prepare yourself adapting to these new regulations?
Yeah, as you said, we need a lot of collaboration between manufacturers and suppliers. Maybe some certification bodies, maybe more critical to ensure the compliance. And as I think Dinolift, we might need some certification labels, for example, EcoParis, to demonstrate our commitment. So, main spots for us.
Yeah. Thank you, Ari. Would you, Niina, like to add something?
Well, yeah, that's a main thing. I think that we have been now doing this non-financial reporting for 3 years, and I think it's the reporting is sort of driving us to be better.
Yeah.
So I think that is a third-party evaluation is. I think that somebody is looking us behind that. Are we actually doing those things that we are promising to do? So I think that is important.
Thank you. Can you agree, Emilia?
Completely. I also root for the reporting itself, not only just to have the report. It's not the main goal, but I think more rewarding is to the entire process and the foundation and the culture that it creates to the company. And because as a part of the report, you build a strategy, you build the focus areas, and also the company's ambition level. And after you have created that process in the company, then everybody is more or less on the same level, and you make sure that you're going to the same direction. And then again, the reporting defines the measurements, the measurement tools and the mechanisms, for example, the ESG. So I think starting now already, if the company has not started it already, to start the reporting culture already now, and then you're ready for the future, what's coming.
Thank you. Is there, Mika, something special you would like to add on?
I can only agree with what's already been said. I think that maybe the best time to start already, it already went, but the second best time is today. So I mean, there is a lot to do. I think we have to be very also honest to ourselves that we have to sacrifice something. We need to put resources into this. It will not come, without our efforts. So it means some sacrificing somewhere for good. And yeah.
And I think amid all this discussion that how it takes resources, but then again, I think there's a lot of possibilities also to generate value and create value from the entire process as well, and competitiveness for the company as well, not only in supply chain, but also, for example, the future, most likely the highly skilled workforce are looking the company that has the most advanced sustainability efforts, for example, or in products or innovation. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for companies to generate value to the market and create competitiveness.
Thank you.
Yeah, someday it might be the key to new markets if you do this well. So.
Yeah, and then the first question for this topic: how can companies not only to adapt but to lead and benefit from prioritizing sustainability? What do you think about that? Ari, please.
For us, it must go that way that we prioritize the supply chain sustainability, prefer working with suppliers that share the same commitment. It's all about setting ambitious goals. There are new methods like this ESG reporting or EcoBuddies, as mentioned before. It's all about embedding the sustainability in our corporate culture. And of course, although a circular economy principles, they are in good level in EU, but you can always do it a little bit better. So, and maybe have some long-term plans. For example, renewable energy, solar power, and so on. So these are the main things for us.
Yeah, thank you. Niina.
Yeah, this could have been my list.
Yeah.
But I really think that it's really much about the company culture. So that the fair, transparent, diverse companies get the best skills, and these skills make new innovations, and then they get the work done, so to say. So I think that is very much in the company culture. So these are all actions that which comes. And then also I liked this because I've been working in circular economy for so long. So I think that we have produced everything we need. So we just we should be prepared to adapt more circular economy business models and be better in the sharing economy. So my mantra is I don't. It might sound terrible, but as a rental company, I really would like to rent less. So I don't want to rent that many machines, but I want to rent them for higher price. And how to ground that higher price, I think that we provide better data and better services around these machines. So we don't just rent gold machines. We rent knowledge. We rent the information, how to use them best, how to get the job done the best possible way, with as less waste than possible. So less machines, but with a higher profit.
Yeah, thank you, Niina. What about Pemamek?
Well, when consider the question that how the company can lead and benefit from prioritizing, then I think, again, I go in the beginning of the story that the company needs to itself to know that what is its strategy and what is its ambition level and targets as well during the sustainability process. And during that process, when company gathers data and it brings more transparency to the company as well. And to add what has already been said, I think there is a major possibility and opportunity to develop the processes while acquiring all this data. So I think in the end, it benefits the company to become even more efficient or more competitiveness or more competitive after getting more transparent processes.
Thank you. And last but not least.
A lot already being said, very wise words. But I think how the company can lead, being proactive, I think that's clear already. We already, I think, during this discussion, we already noticed that this is a kind of the topic is something it is kind of a license to operate in the future. So it is something that you cannot overlook, so you need to find the resources. But how can the company benefit in addition to what already been said here? I think there are many ways, like thinking about employees. We've been in Northern Europe, in Europe in general, we've been living the times when it's when the workforce is very scarce. hard to find people. People are choosing the companies, not the companies' people sometimes. So these are the matters that the people today and the future think when they choose where they work for. Investors, depending on what is the company situation, how dependent it is from investors, they make the investment decisions based on how the company is complying with the topics that we are discussing. So there are benefits, a lot of benefits that the companies can achieve when we just be proactive and start as soon as possible.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Great insights for the future requirements. And as we heard, understanding and adapting to the future requirements will be crucial for businesses to stay competitive and contribute to a more sustainable future. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to wrap up. I hope all of you have a productive and insightful event here at DINO Talkx. It has been a pleasure to be your host and witness the exchange of knowledge and ideas that have taken place throughout the webinar. As we come close to this webinar, I would like to take a few moments to reflect on what we have accomplished and also express my gratitude to all those who have participated to this webinar. So today we have heard that by adopting sustainable practices, companies can minimize their environmental impact, boost their reputation, and contribute to a more sustainable future. It is indeed crucial for businesses to prioritize sustainability and work together with suppliers, partners, stakeholders, and other companies to achieve a truly sustainable supply chain. And as we bring this webinar to a close, I would like to thank our fabulous speakers who have shared their expertise and experiences with us today. Your speeches have been informative, engaging, and thought-provoking. So huge thank you for you. I would also like to express my appreciation to Dinolift and our organizing committee for their hard work and dedication in putting together this webinar. Your planning skills ensured that everything ran smoothly and that we had a seamless experience throughout this webinar. Lastly, I want to extend my sincere thanks to all of you participants who took the time and effort to attend this webinar. Your willingness to share your own perspectives have made this event truly enriching and rewarding. And in the end, I would like to encourage you all to stay connected and continue the conversations that were sparked here today. Take the knowledge and insights you have gained and apply them in your companies and maybe perhaps in your personal lives as well. And remember, learning is a lifelong journey, and it's up to us to continue seeking the new ways and new knowledge and opportunities for growth. Let us work together to create a more sustainable future for ourselves, our companies, and even for the future generations. Once again, thank you all for being part of this webinar. I hope to see you all in the future events. DINO Talkx will continue next year, which is actually the anniversary year of Dinolift. So counting down the days for that. Thank you and goodbye.